Aquarius, how are you? How are you going? Are you feeling overly burdened with the responsibility of taking us into this new realm, this new way of being, this new way of living? Are you feeling overly responsible for your loved ones, your friends, your families? Are you feeling like it's almost comical to watch what's going on? Are you deeply concerned? Are you looking at it from a higher view? I hope this finds you and your family safe and well, and that being in isolation, if that is your story, is gifting you with an opportunity to truly connect into the mastery of what you are. You are the higher consciousness, the embodiment of the 5D energy that we are really trying to integrate here. Old world into the new. You are the new world. What does that mean? And how quick can realities change at a choice, at a decision? You know, you think you haven't changed. You think there's a lot yet for you to learn, Aquarius, but you are ultimately able to change just as quickly as what has happened in our current reality. Okay, the emotional realms is what you were connecting into last week. So perhaps you were feeling like you were surrounded by the emotions of others, or feeling emotional about your circumstances, or in typical Aquarian fashion, not wanting to connect to their emotions. I don't know how I feel about this, so I don't want to connect into that. I'll just continue to think about it, discuss it, theorize it, you know, which is the gift of what you are. However, all that weird stuff you think of yourself, and how you have these ideas that randomly come to you, and what's it all for? It doesn't fit into the, how am I supposed to do that? It doesn't, why do people not have the same view as I do? Well, we've just started a 3-month journey of what ultimately will be Aquarius in Saturn, or Saturn in Aquarius, sorry, where Saturn rules structures, foundations, rules, regulations, boundaries. It's coming out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. We are invited to do all of that stuff in a whole new way. Yes, the world has always looked a certain way. Yes, we've always abided by certain rules, and that's just not what you do. And it's been frustrating as hell for you, Aquarius, because you just don't get the stagnancy of the old way of doing things. And it's been frustrating perhaps in your youth, seeing things and knowing things from a higher view, and being frustrated with what was ultimately meant to be the leadership in your life, you know, the adults in your life, the bosses you've had. You've probably had a lot of problems with authority your whole life. But ultimately, when you can see the higher view of how leadership should ultimately be embodied, it can be frustrating to not want to express that in anger, to not want to ultimately give up in defeat and not care, and then just sink into a routine that ultimately is just what we do. But that ultimately kills the divine spark that is you, Aquarius. Okay? If this world is ultimately about what is here, what is tangible, what can be planted, what can be grown, you are the distant star far, far away that ultimately embodies us with your cosmic rays of inspiration. You are the light that lifts our heads and faces up to see the possibility rather than looking down here all the time. And then as the water bearer, I love Aquarius. As the water bearer, you invite us to look up to the light, to look up at the lighthouse that is our inspiration, of where we can be, where we can go. That looks nothing like here. And then it is in that juxtaposition we experience extreme discomfort in our perceptions, our thoughts, and our emotions. How do I get? What is that? What is that? How do we get there? That's not safe. We need to stay down here. Does that little storyline make sense for an Aquarius out there? And perhaps your whole life you've gotten to a point where you were just sick and tired of reassuring convincing, trying to sell an idea that ultimately is for the greater good, the greater safety of all, the greater benefit of everyone else. Where you can perhaps get really controlling, my dear, in why can't they just see it this way? Well, guess what happens this year? You get to kick off that. I just want to show you. Communication was at the bottom of the deck just then, but I'm going to keep shuffling. Look out for the butterflies. You are perhaps finding yourself more comfortable talking about things you haven't talked about for a while, or you have intuitively kept to yourself. Concepts, theories, conspiracies, ideas, and apply that to every level about what's going on in the world, what the world needs, what your family needs, what rules and structures ultimately need to change with arrangements and situations that have long past frustrated you towards growth. Because you have the hive, you have everyone's interest. You are the collective consciousness that ultimately takes us into a whole new way of seeing ourselves, And as the water bearer, the only thing I ask you, Aquarius, is just to keep in mind that just because you see things from a higher view doesn't mean that others will see it too. And they will perhaps challenge you emotionally. Because all that you carry is the intention of good, perhaps. And you may have felt questioned your whole life about your intentions, When we just don't resonate, when we just don't resonate with another, we don't resonate with our workplace, you're seeing things from up here and they're looking down here. So you're trying to sell yourself to a reality that has not yet met you where you are. And by God, you know what? When you do meet a reality halfway, which is what you are, where you are, which resonates, I think you won't even know what to do with yourself. Because you're so used to being different. Seeing things from that higher realm. What happens then, Aquarius, when you meet the mirror? Do you recognize yourself? Have you met yourself deeply enough? That was your reading last week. Really connect in to the waters you bear, your emotional body. You can master it. But yet you've kept yourself perhaps so removed from the concepts of emotions, and maybe you're actually hanging on to really an old way of viewing what emotions are. In the Pisces reading I was just mentioning, maybe you have Pisces in your chart somewhere. Maybe you are dealing with a Pisces. It is from our emotions that we ultimately get to know ourselves intimately, yes, but it is the spark of creativity that fuels the cog. Okay, so we have to have a thought, Aquarius, which ultimately transfers to a feeling that fuels an action, that fuels the energy that provides that forward momentum. I need to be emotionally driven in order to embrace a choice. Thoughts are great, a vision and a dreams are great, but I need it to marry up to my emotions in order to truly act, okay? I can talk all day. Energy balance. Are you feeling energetically unbalanced, Aquarius? Are you needing to reassess what balance is in your life? Are you finding that this is a beautiful time for you to truly get into what you are? Okay? This higher consciousness, energetic experience of life where you are super sensory to the world around you and you are just being very aware of what you do and do not want to absorb, what you do want to hang on to and what you want to let go of, becoming conscious of what makes you feel balanced or not, what is good for you, what is nourishing, what you need from the ground up in order to truly ascend outside of your current circumstances. Apply that however you wish, Aquarius. There's a lot of rainbow energy emitting around you and accessible to you now, which ultimately is this higher frequency and 5D energy, this higher consciousness way of infusing all elements of your being. The chakras represent dimensions within ourselves, dimensions within our life, access points that we can truly, and it's not just about clearing and balancing our energy, it's about getting to the crux and the nitty-gritty of what each chakra is about. All of it makes you who you are. And you, when I was saying that story before about connecting into those that are down here, and this is not about higher or lower, okay? This is the old world, for example. This is you up here, the light, the star, okay? The bridge is forming for you to truly connect into those that you have never been able to connect to before. Your understanding is starting to perhaps be received. Just the shift in energy and consciousness. Many Aquarians are perhaps finding that they can actually see that light bridge now that ultimately sits between them and the other. Apply that to whoever you want. If you have felt misunderstood your whole life, you are starting to see clearly how the path is lighting up in order for you to bridge the gap that ultimately divides you and another, that ultimately bridges the gap that divides you and your long-term goals, your higher ideals. How do I connect that point with this point, Aquarius? This is what you're moving into. This is what happens when Saturn moves into Aquarius. We are inspired to redefine structure. We are building, connecting. We are creating rules, new rules, Aquarian style rules about everything, really. God, I could talk all day. I'm loving the energy of the zodiac readings this week. I really, really am. I don't know if you saw the video on my Facebook page, but my original game plan with these weekly readings was just to do some light and fluffy zodiac readings. How's your life going, Aquarius? I see you've got a new job. Let's see how that pans out. And I was going to do separate readings for what I call soul path readings. So I'm going to keep it as an open book. Ultimately, what I want to do is connect to other empaths, sensitives, intuitives, those that find themselves on an awakening journey. That could be as complicated or as simple as you want to make it. And instead of dividing my work, my page, and you know, the last 2 years in many ways has been about this bridging, the very bridge and metaphoric story that I was just explaining that you have perhaps been trying to do in your experience as well, Aquarius, you know. The bridging to a higher view. As much as I've been consolidating that in my business and the work that I do as an energy healer and intuitive reader over the last 2 years, this is literally the energy we are walking into, Aquarius. Everyone is awakening on some level. You know, old rules are falling away. All those times you felt like you had to keep your higher ideals, inspiration, thoughts, consciousness to yourself because it was too weird or it was never well received, or your intentions were never taken and received for what they truly were. Watch how the bridge forms and gaps close. This is potent time for you over the next 3 years. That can be anything, Aquarius. You and an old dream. You and your old visions, original visions of what you had for yourself, for your life, for your career, for your experience of love. And the greatest love relationship starts with self. You are going to be heard, seen, recognized, if you so choose. Because I feel like I'm talking to Aquariuses that are going to be falling into the old safety patterns as well as I'm never received, I'm not understood, I don't, you know, okay, so I think that's pertinent for some Aquarius out there. Go back into your past, go back into what you originally learned, go back into, okay, I'm just wondering, I think I'm running out of room, but I'm going to be able to get your reading done. Go back into your past, you know, all those times you felt like you couldn't be yourself, connect properly, the original, even childhood dreams and goals, Aquarius, visions and ideas around love, success, abundance, you name it, revisit it, now bring it back, okay? You're going back to the blueprint in many ways. Let's see what story the tarot wants to say. The Two of Wands, the Six of Wands, the Devil in the past, the Ten of Wands. Okay, I'm loving this. are you? The Hierophant, Two of Cups, the Five of Swords, the Six of Cups, and the Star. Underneath this is the King of Swords. Are you kidding me? Both cards ultimately embody you. Underneath all of this is the essence of who you are. You are the master of the mental and thought realms. But guess what? When we're here on earth living the reality, we have been living your storyline the whole time, ever since, you know, you were a child growing up to this point in the timeline, Aquarius. You are now gifted with the opportunity to really embody your higher self. Holy crap. This is so special. Do you know what that means? This is the Star. It is you. It is represented by Aquarius. This is a major arcana. This is a minor arcana court card. It represents you, Aquarius. This is your 3D experience and in its highest form. If you thought, oh my goodness, if you thought everything you have achieved when it comes to career, success, your experience of life, finances, love, anything, if you thought it was good then, if you think you've only ever could reach a certain point, you have no idea what is about to open up for you in the next 3 years. I just got goosebumps. You have no idea how much you can actually embody. And I keep wanting to tell you to revisit the past. This is like old childhood dreams, ideals, beliefs, deeper knowings that you knew about yourself a long time ago, before the world told you who to be. Oh my God. Just having an awakening myself doing your reading. Let me tell a story. Please, I hope my camera doesn't cut out. If it does, I'm uploading 2 videos again for you this week. This is literally the free time I've got to do a video, and I want to free flow and really connecting to the energy, and I'm loving your reading, Aquarius. Ah, oh my God. Okay, let us begin with a story. In the recent past is the devil energy, is the Capricorn energy. Saturn was in Capricorn for years. This is your outcome card, the Star. Saturn is in Aquarius. Now, let me just make one point. Saturn is in Aquarius for 3 months, and then it retrogrades back into, or shifts back into Capricorn until the end. I think it's solstice, okay? So December 21, don't quote me, I've got to check the dates, or around solstice. A lot of the major planetary conjunctions this year, Aquarius, are happening around equinox and solstice. They are the 4 portals that I always work with that balance the elements of who we are cosmically, earthbound, all right? Moon cycles are great and all. Planetary shifts are definitely key as well, but it is the importance of the portals, equinox and solstice, okay? But listen, Saturn rules structure, the father figure, the male embodiment, whether you are a male or a female. This is your experience of the masculine. Saturn rules the masculine. It is the father of the zodiac. Cancer is the mother, the moon, okay? Capricorn is the father, I should say. It's like, if you didn't like how you were parented, when we get to become parents, we ultimately redefine, yeah? We get to either choose to become what we were told and learned, or we become the opposite. This is what this is about. You're about to birth a cosmic baby. Sorry, my brain is actually doing an Aquarian thing right now where I'm just like, you are going to understand me, Aquarius. You, above all other zodiacs, will understand what I'm experiencing right now. You are about to birth a cosmic concept of what this masculine energy is when it comes to power, structure, order, rules, regulation. We are coming out of Saturn. You are coming out of toxicity. You are coming out of ultimately the darkness that has kept you bound away from the truth of who you are. When I said earlier, I was intuitively picking up on messages and telling a story. You know that defeated feeling when you have tried your whole life to explain this is who I am. Why can't they see me? Why can't they see my intentions? Why don't others love the way I do? Why don't they see solutions outside of challenges like I do? You get to a point where everyone down here is busy looking down here, and you're trying to invite everyone up there, but yet no bridge exists, Aquarius. No bridge to truly, you have felt disconnected even from what was ultimately supposed to be deeper connections in your life. Your father figure, a parent figure, your relationship to power, and how ultimately destabilizing feeling it is when you are powerless, that you can't see that higher view in the times that you're venturing into your emotions even, okay? God, so much symbolism. We are coming out of a time where Saturn was in Capricorn. You personally, Aquarius, are coming out of toxicity, old ties to beliefs, fears, substance abuse, relationships that are karmically bound. These are contracts that are long-standing, that we just can't shift and shake. This is in your past. From your past to your outcome, okay? Your outcome is you actually embodying your higher self. Old dreams, old goals, old cosmic sustenance, old higher consciousness, knowing that you can actually ground those ideas, those plans, those old ways of wanting to love, live, experience yourself and life. You don't have to disconnect from it anymore. You don't have to disconnect from it through settling with relationships that ultimately keep you tied to an essence that you've never really understood about Earth, about our old world and ways of doing things. You don't have to be tied to substances that help you block out the sadness that ultimately is that gap. This is the gap. My God, look at this. I should make tarot cards. The bridge is forming, Aquarius. Do you see this story that I'm trying to tell? This is you integrating all of that. There's a journey that is happening for you. June feels significant. February feels significant. Well, it was your birthday. Okay? You are letting go of old beliefs and ways of connecting that ultimately kept you bound to carrying the burdens that were never yours. You always found yourself in the role of the wounded healer, wanting to support, wanting others to know that you love them, cared for them, that you ultimately played codependency to a T and carried everything, even the knowledge of knowing you were doing that. You're beautiful. This is coming to an end. The old world, your old ways of doing everything because you felt you had to settle. Because you actually know, deep in your heart, high in your higher mind, you know, and that's what I'm inviting you into. Balance the higher vision here. This is possible. All of those old dreams, old goals, old ways of wanting to connect, to love, to experience yourself. This is you coming home to you. There is recognition here. You are now being seen for who you are. Okay? Aquarians have such a massive role in, and you know what? Your role, just the simple role you play at work, the simple role you play within your family, that is huge too. You have been placed exactly within the soul contracts and points in the timeline that you have ideally needed to be. Aquarians are playing a huge role in the next 10 years, 50 years, 60 years. Aquarian theme concepts around higher ways of looking at ourselves, our life, our dreams, our goals are really going to be recognized. You are going to be recognized. Apply that to the micro and macro levels. Put yourself out there, Aquarius. Reach out, connect, say what it is that you want. You will be received. when you are ready to let go of anything that looks like this, and you might even still have this in your life in some way. When you are ready to truly let go of the despondency that ultimately has in the past made you feel like you had to hang on because that's the best there was. No, it isn't. You are able to go for this now. The pathway has been opened. The bridge has been activated. The simple energy that we are all experiencing, this great awakening, that is the energy of you trying to come down here. I can just go all day. What was that card? There is hope here. It is not quite here, but there is hope here. Okay? This is about remaining optimistic. And I get it. In the depths of who you are, Aquarius, you almost get to a point where you just can't be bothered, which is why we settle and we carry things that are not ours to carry. Was it your reading or Pisces? I was saying about, did I say it at the start of your reading about relationships need to be 100% and 100%, not 50-50. But you've held yourself back your whole life. It's like conditioning. I'm not going to speak up. They'll think I'm weird. You know? You are going to be seen for your light, Aquarius. You are now invited into a balancing where you ultimately connect into others that are just like you. And even if they're not like you, they're actually starting to see your true core, okay? And if that doesn't resonate, that's what this year is for you. It's going to be sad, true, as you strip away all old ties, old realities, old jobs, old ways of believing. That all comes packaged under this stuff. We can live our whole life under this energy. Commitments, marriages. But once old beliefs that fundamentally shape our perceptions of ourselves, which ultimately shape our perceptions of our fears, our goals, our dreams and higher ideals, once all of that falls away and we get raw and real with ourselves and authentically choose to connect and put ourselves out there, reach for our goals, say who we are, the old world falls away and everything that comes with it. But with that, it is the bridge, right? It is the bridge between the here and now and the unseen. But you are the unseen, so you do connect to the vision, okay? So maintain that faith, Aquarius, because you are coming home into yourself, okay? This is some really higher principle stuff. If this is to do with love, you are looking for a love that ultimately represents this and not this. Don't get me wrong, it's not that you don't like sex. But you are looking for connection. Let's look at this metaphorically. You are looking for connection that ultimately is of a higher order, a higher principle, a higher ideal. Not something that makes you feel like you are tied and bound out of responsibility, out of codependency, out of this false concept that you need to play the wounded healer that carries everyone else's responsibilities because they simply do not see you for who you are. You've always played a role, right? There's an invitation to higher stuff, okay? You might be connecting in spiritually right now. You literally might be meditating, accessing some higher principles within yourself. This is an invitation to connect to the source, okay, of guidance, prayer, religion. Apply it how it resonates. This definitely might be to do with a relationship, a connection where you're feeling conflicted about, do I stay, do I go, do I approach, do I cut my losses here? Wanting to communicate, but feeling like communication is like this. This might even just be an internal thing, Aquarius. But you are done with feeling like this and this and this. You are done feeling like that in connection. You can connect to anything, a person, an ideal, a way of life. You are done feeling conflicted and overburdened by an old world. It is an old world, Aquarius. This is not just about your beliefs about love. This is not just about your beliefs about what your potential is for this lifetime. It is a whole world. Because ultimately when we walk into a world, this is the parameters, this is the boundaries, this is how shit's done here, and that's it. We either choose to go with that, or we swim against the grain and we suffer, yeah? And in many ways, you've accepted defeat, because like all of us, we don't want to suffer. We want to be able to manifest and flourish and experience abundance in the only way it can be experienced, you know. But I'm talking about that next level up. That next level up, Aquarius. I really need to finish because this is going way too long. You are done feeling like this. What you are looking for is this. Remnants of the past, my dear. This might be a connection from your past. This might be old childhood goals. This might be an old way of looking at love that is ultimately spiritually nourishing. You are looking for spiritual love, and that doesn't have to be just found. Actually, you know what? Scrap everything I just said. You are looking for spiritual love of the highest order, and that first and foremost alchemizes within you, Aquarius. And then it naturally is mirrored in your outer reality. Someone from the past might be key, yes, when the Six of Cups shows up. Your childhood might be key. This is going to link back to last week's reading. Go and rewatch it. There's a new beginning here when it comes to your concepts and ideas of love, spiritual principles around love that you perhaps, when it comes to being the water bearer, Aquarius, look at the star card, the water bearer. She bears the waters, okay? Even though you are symbolized by higher consciousness, thought, the mental realms, Aquarius is the water bearer. And what she's doing here is keeping things balanced when it comes to the emotions, when it comes to feeling grounded, when it comes to be guided by the cosmos, okay? She is naked, she is raw, she is free. This is a divine gift. I think I'm speaking to Aquarius that are ultimately going through an awakening and a spiritual healing, a leveling up into themselves, a merging of your higher self with your human self. You are really embodying some higher wisdom here. You might be experiencing some discomfort as that happens, okay? Base chakra, sacral chakra clearing, solar plexus activation, heart activations, throat chakra clearing, some higher knowing and the balancing of the higher realms. I want to say ground down that higher knowing. Allow it to flow through your emotional body, because that's when we truly balance. You're cutting away and releasing old fears. Can you even step into your element anymore? This is the masculine and feminine essence of who you are, Aquarius. This is the king and, what did I say? The king and queen of swords. You might be connecting into another air sign or someone that has air sign placements in their chart. This is a woman that's been through a lot. She's the alpha female, if you like, and she does not accept anything less than what she deserves. This is the intellectual. They're both intellectuals, okay? They resonate at the mind. They are a powerful couple when it comes to mind mastery, thought mastery, and ultimately how that shapes everything. It shapes our fears, our memories of pain and heartbreak. All masks are off, Aquarius. I know that I'm picking up on those of you that have been through this, okay? Yes, in the past. But like I said, the old world is dying. When the Three of Cards shows up, yes, there's heartbreak here. So have you processed it? All right, go back to last week's reading. Have you processed the pain from the past? Have you suppressed it? There's an invitation here to truly step into something really big. You are that big thing that I'm talking about. And from there, Aquarius, your world mirrors you, your connections mirror you then. Time to let go. All masks are off. Show the world, show that person, show your dreams and goals, who you really are. Go for it, okay? Trust your intuition. This is an awakening. Everything. London Bridge is falling down. I know it's not a bridge, but the old world is falling down. You're everything as you know it. Everything you've put up with, decided. You know? New chapter. New chapter. And for many Aquariuses, the last couple of years have been quite deeply transforming in order to connect into the wisdom within. Feeling very, and you could have very well been connecting and dating and relating, whatever, but you have gone in the last 2 years. You've transformed from some deeper challenges when it comes to feeling like this about life. This year is different. This year you reactivate that energy. Okay, you activate that energy of the divine fire that is within you, that gets you passionate and connected and sensual and excited about life again, Aquarius. Like genuinely, because you know that fire hasn't been lit for a very long time. You've perhaps felt like you've had to be strategic. You've perhaps felt like others have been like this with you, okay? Where we start to downplay narcissistic tendencies that are happening to us, through us. We start to pick up the behaviors of lies. We accept the lies of others. And it becomes this cat and mouse play of ultimately when we are down here in this world as it is, within this energy, we either play our part or we rise above it. And a long time ago, perhaps you decided it was safer just to be quiet, be here, play the game. But this is about letting all of that go, Aquarius. There's an invitation here to start something new. Energy balancing. I told you, massive the readings this week. They are beautiful, and so are you. I hope this finds you well and you got some inspiration, some clarity, some healing. Big times, Aquarius. Big times. Like I said, you are leading the charge. I feel like I need to finish with one more for you. I know I haven't done this. I'm sorry, other zodiacs. Soul purpose cards. Soul purpose, Aquarius. Let's finish your reading with one more. And I'm going to be hating if this completely flips everything. No, I'll find the link. I'll find the energetic link. Soul purpose, my dear. That one. Service. I feel good when I can help others. Let's look at the shadow and light element of that. You are now invited to activate this age of Aquarius. You are in service in whatever form that takes. The role you play within your family, your friendship groups, the new role you're wanting to take on board. Whether you actively are doing something on the ground when it comes to conceptualizing how we all receive the age of Aquarius and its wisdom and its lessons and its gifts. This is heart chakra connections, okay? When you willingly connect into your higher self and accept that it is time to let the old go, open up to the new, those old childhood dreams of what love, connection, goals, and living has meant for you. You are activating heart chakra here, and you are genuinely in service to the collective, Aquarius. When you are authentic in the expression of your light and love, and you go seek that equally, you are in service to others simply because you are showing us the way. That it is safe to be vulnerable. It is safe to go for our dreams and our goals. That is an act of service. Okay? And yes, when we are imbalanced in our acts of service, carrying the burdens of others and the responsibilities that were not ours to carry, playing the wounded healer because we feel so committed to being in a service role to our loved ones, our friends, it ultimately can imbalance to the point it looks like this. What are you in service to? Are you in service Wait for it. To the old world or the new? What are you in service to?